Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to BioShock Infinite. So we're in a little bit of a quiet section, but we've been outed as the false prophet, and people are going to try and kill me whenever they see me, if there are any people around here. We have some interesting trades that I'm gonna have to be more careful about. Like this, for instance, drinking wine would reduce my salt, and since my health is probably going to be at maximum for this entire game, since the DLC has given me 5 extra levels on my shield before I even started, it's really made the game super easy. It's going to be odd. They told the citizens to leave their doors unlocked, so I can just walk through doors now. The one thing I'm looking for here, though, is actually a place where you could... That wasn't expecting the music to play like that. I'm looking for a save point. Honestly. We can hear that the friends of the Negro Society here are probably going to get thrown out of the place. They're in a sense rebelling against Columbia's institutionalized racism.
It's him. The one they're after. Go. They're looking for you.
Can't take the nut.
They're here!
Shh. Keep your voice down.
So do I go this way? No. So these two, so they're not all bad, I guess might be the thing you're trying to take. That's the idea, I suppose, is that not everybody in Colombia is bad, but what does that really mean? All it really means is that unlike in BioShock, where every single person you saw, you shot immediately, here there's less of a reason to do that. Here they have Abraham Lincoln. Interesting point to make here. Abraham Lincoln, not one of the founding fathers, because almost certainly that they didn't want him in his Emancipation Proclamation involved. And you can see people being smuggled as an underground railroad. Of course, this story doesn't really get touched upon very much, as much as it should. Pick up some salts. We've seen that same tonic multiple times. They really want to make sure you have that fire tonic. See, now my health might be a little bit low, but then after that point, until I get into a fight, I am actually perfectly suited to stop picking up food and such, but the way the system works, it really doesn't make any sense when you're searching trash cans or anything to not take everything. And so we kind of went from a my shield's taking a little bit of time to refill. I have to applaud the game for gender equality. I've said it before, but so I'll take all that money and then I'll see if there's anything that I need to buy. Like, see, the problem is going to be buying salts. And this pistol's pretty good, but it's not the greatest. There could be some upgrades. It would be nice to get. Is there anything over here? And we can see over here we've got some stuff. Which way do I want to go on this? I think I want to start over here. Let's see, we've got some stuff, junk back here. I don't know how long that machine is going to be programmed, though. Here we can see one of these robotic horses. I'm just searching the crate through it. See, the fireworks don't really call enemies or do anything.
Comstock came by the wagon at dawn. Man was just transfixed by my trophy scalps. Asked about the white ones there. I said, well, sir, if your quarry dwells in the jungle and beds down with the local color, why split hairs? Not a chuckle out of him. Either he ain't seen a man go native, or maybe too many. Anyhow, now it's got me hunting down this Daisy Fitzroy. Hope he don't expect me to stuff and mount her. Yeah.
And potentially missing a lot there. So basically, if you didn't follow along there, that guy is capturing people that sympathize slash date, relate, or sleep with Africans or African Americans. I don't even know what you'd really call them here. I suppose the best term would be African Colombians or Africans, depending on whether they were born on Colombia or America or what. It's a that's kind of the problem here. Some of the words you can't use anymore were more descriptive. So this door now opens, even though it wouldn't before, if for some reason I wanted to run back into that area. There is this idea of the game being more open world, but it doesn't really succeed at it at all. Like, it's pretty linear. You can see these horses are they're gonna kind of disappear once we get out of this area too, which we're not too far from leaving. And these buildings all feel like they should be buildings that you would deal with. And so that's the way we're gonna go, or is this the way we're gonna go? Can't go this way. Maybe the game will come back later and have us run through that. So we go into this, which is the Academus. What is this? It's again Latin. Academus Patria Nostra Defendre. And it's yet another element to Colombia that makes no sense. Like the magical sci-fi things keeping the place floating, which kind of makes sense. We're now going to enter this kind of dark and spooky area that looks a lot like BioShock. Comstock fights the Serpent of Nations, which I assume is China. Like, and there was a part in BioShock 2 where you had a statue of somebody fighting a serpent. It is worth mentioning that BioShock Infinite is the next game made by the creators of BioShock 1, and BioShock 2 was a side project by a side team that did a decent enough job, in my opinion. If anything, I would argue that BioShock 2's creators stayed more in line with BioShock 1 than BioShock Infinite's creators, which is Ken Levine and the creators of that. And so the Order of the Raven, which I suppose the idea here is it's a secret society, which were very popular back in the day. And we have Eat Rotten Apple. So yeah. Here you have pictures of famous people with no names on them, so it's kind of like a secret society idea. But I don't recognize any of these people. Oh, John Wilkes Booth, I know him. So, they're fans of John Wilkes Booth, who shot Abraham Lincoln, because everybody or most of the people in this world of Columbia are racist. So it makes a lot of sense. You can see clearly there's devil horns and eyes on that, and see that those guys are just walking around. But the weirdness is you actually aren't gonna just get shot immediately.
Brace yourselves!
They're gonna take a second to shoot you. And was there a way to avoid a confrontation? And then my shield allows me to take aim a lot faster than for a lot longer amount of time, so there's less damage.
And when the Angel Columbia gave unto the founders the tools to build a new Eden, they did so without hesitation. For 85 years they prepared the way of the Lord. But when the great apostate came, he brought war with him, and the fields of Eden were soaked with the blood of brothers. The only emancipation he had to offer was death.
So, interesting paint stroke filter on these paintings, but it makes it kind of difficult to see until you're further away. So they're basically saying Abraham Lincoln was the devil and George Washington was the right, protecting our race. So racism, basically. But I gotta slightly applaud the racism here. It's the purest form of racism you probably will ever see in a modern age of, in the United States at least. Like, full of actual beliefs of superiority, full with all of the excuses and all of the literature, and probably even some falsified scientific studies to say that the Anglo-Saxon white race is the best race. You don't see that nowadays. You see ignorant people spouting ignorant things without any even attempts to justify or explain their beliefs. What is this? Is that like a rabbit? Why is there a rabbit here? It doesn't make that much sense though. This is supposed to be like their clubhouse, and the clubhouse is just full of maggot infested meat, and I suppose there may be some symbolism here. The idea that they're rotten and thus their food is rotten and all of that. But but it still doesn't really make that much sense. Let's pick up this money, although it's kind of pointless. A few dollars here and there isn't going to change much. We need more backstory for something like this. It needs to explain how it went from a secret society, or not even really a secret society here. They've got a giant building, an order that worshiped John Wilkes Booth, and then that evolved over a couple hundred years into a religious belief of that enforced their racist beliefs and anti-Lincoln beliefs. It'd be nice if they threw in some other arguments against Lincoln too.
Where we demonstrated to the sorrow below the true mission our founders have given us. And when the madmen and hypocrites of Washington betrayed him, our prophet did not heal. He did not come crawling for their forgiveness. Like our fathers broke from the great apostate, our prophet broke with these so-called patriots. And today is the day we celebrate this secession.
So we're getting introduced to a new bad guy style, and here you can see there's a upgrade, and they've changed their beliefs. Now the sword means defense, the scroll means wisdom, the key means discovery, and the eye means faith. For God, for God and country. So, suppose there's always a slight fear that the United States might become so jingoistic that they love their country to the point of making it a religion, but it's not highly likely. We're also, as most U.S. citizens, are also kind of dismayed with their country too, and they tend to go back and forth in those directions. So it maintains a decent balance. And here we've got another, I think, John Wilkes Booth. And I assume these are some of the other conspirators who conspired to kill Abraham Lincoln.
Attack! I'll cripple you.
Time to switch to the other gun. You can see my melee suit here just electrocuted him, turned him into dust. That being said, there's a slight danger in this, and we'll just keep improving our thing. Optional quest: give you an opportunity to find valuable resources. Try revisiting places you've already been to find a lock for that key. Find the key that fits into. So, did we see anything that was missing a key?
What exactly was the great
Zachary
emancipator
Comstock.
emancipating the Negro from? From his daily bread, from the nobility of honest work, from wealthy patrons who sponsored them from cradle to grave, from clothing and shelter. And what have they done with their freedom? Why, go to Finkton and you shall find out. No animal is born free, except the white man. And it is our burden to care for the rest of creation.
So you can tell Comstock is clearly racist. But Booker DeWitt, on the other hand, so far has not said anything against him either. Against what he's seen or heard. So keep that in mind. The question is, where does the key go? I guess I have to really go back more. You know what? It's very possible that it goes to that door we saw outside this entire area. I'm just gonna stay on this gun. And I suspect we might get ambushed here as we double back. We don't have any markers or anything that tell us, and there's not a high likelihood of secret things. Secret panels or anything. I don't think. Or if there is, well, that didn't even light the fire. Interesting. And see, everything gets highlighted for a second or so, and then it goes away. We're just wandering. So I guess I do really need to just go back, because there's nothing here. Let's see, minus health plus whiskey of unknown booze, plus health minus salt. The system doesn't even feel like it works the same way as it did in BioShock, because alcohol used to give you Eve, which is what the equivalent of salt is, and now it doesn't. It seems like it just takes things away. So we'll just take that, and that's a great example of not picking up things if you don't need to. And we'll just come out here. And unless we're going to get ambushed, I think we're done with this area. And boy, does that feel like it's just a side quest, although it's smoky now. But see, now the smoke is gone and everything's fine. And the key doesn't unlock this. Go to the Monument Island and find the girl. And I don't think these doors are ever going to be unlocked. And we can see people have respawned. But does that mean I'm in the right place? And then we get that music playing, and we assume that music means we're safe, but maybe it doesn't. And is there anything we want to buy? And I just broke the window completely. But I don't see a reason I don't see a reason why that window would have been broken. There must be a path that is an umbrella. Doesn't even bounce when you run into it. There must be a path or something. And none of these things got refilled. Yeah, unless this was supposed to go this way. Let's look. Optional. Find the key. Search nearby houses to find what it unlocks. And I think I have to do that. And it's telling me to go this way. So what have I done wrong? This is kind of ridiculous. Like, the marker's just on the floor telling me where to go. Oh, and it's right here. I just totally missed it. Right there. I knew I was doing the wrong thing. Or at least I figured I was. Now, if there is a key somewhere that I'm supposed to unlock, I'm either gonna miss it or I'm gonna find it really quick.
Maliciously wounded several Colombian peacemakers, before then arming himself and firing into an assemblage of virtuous fairgoers.
Here's their spin on what happened.
He is considered wholly responsible for causing at least 8 God-fearing Colombians to meet their maker in heaven. He is considered brimming with danger and evil intent, and we implore you not to tempt ruination by facing him without aid of Colombia's finest. Now, back to the music.
So, interestingly enough, they're saying to not attack me unless you have the police with them. So, that explains why there's a considerable lack of normal people running around, which helps. And do I want to really look for a key or anything? I don't think so. If there was one that we missed, the thing we need and we're not getting here is a map. And we can see we're probably never going to get one. So, what would have been behind that key? Very possibly a hat box with a collectible in it. Can I go back? I guess I can. But we've been introduced to a new class of bad guys that aren't any real stronger than what we've seen up to this point. And doing this probably makes sense because we'll need to save up for upgrades. So, plus we'll run into things like this, where we can just pick up salt and recover it. And you can see they're watching a video of a brain of somebody, and then Comstock perennial study, paralogical study. So that's supposed to be Comstock's brain. And then is that supposed to be an Indian brain? It looks exactly the same to me. We have a picture that probably is some Easter egg or something. Seems pretty obvious we're supposed to go down that direction. And it seems pretty obvious that there's something behind this bookshelf. So it's a torture chamber slash jail cell that has one of these. And this gear stuff is randomized. Urgent care decreases shield recharge delay by 1 second, increases shield recharge rate by this. So I'm going to press A and equip it versus whatever I had before. I suppose I could check that. Now I've seen speedrunners run into rooms like this, save and quit, save and quit, save and quit. I don't know how they would do it right now since the game seems to not really allow for that, but then it might be just the fact that it's checkpointing. So we have this right here, and we could go with this one over Ghost Soldier, which we got from DLC. I think we will. Now let's see what is over here. It seems like either computer room or broadcasting room. Let's see, there's a button. Search the desk, get some soda, take some bullets.
Sweet Mother of Columbia, why do we worship 3 symbols in your memory? We worship the sword, so that we might avenge you. We worship the raven, so that we might cover the city with eyes. We worship the coffin, because it symbolizes the weight of our faith.
So they're almost like a spy organization for Comstock. I don't know if they really worked for Comstock or not, but
I just want to go back to my family.
and so we can see some cruelty definitely occurring here. And we have on the table, this guy disappeared, and we'll try and find him and kill him. Back in the water. With Devil's Kiss equipped, hold and release to create an explosive trap. Where is he? So this guy disappears and reappears. So really isn't a terrible idea to put a trap. Press and release left trigger to create an explosive trap. So
what's this? Some new kind of vigor?
He's not exactly the very difficult, but
That's a hell of a thing.
But he was stronger than anything we saw up to this point. Maybe on hard mode that would have been something. You see, now we're controlling these bloody murder of crows.
Murderous crows. Hold and release to create a nest trap.
Same thing again. Plus left trigger to summon some crows.
Don't make me do this.
how many of these can we use?
Show some sparring, milksop. Keep shooting.
So they're trying to give you a slight comparison here, having you fight the standard guards compared to one of those characters. That being said, it's probably going to be possession that you hold on to before anything else, and doesn't seem like we can search the bodies. My salts are full. So we just need to work our way out of this area. This is, I believe, Lady Comstock again. It certainly doesn't feel, though, like it's a game of... Here's the wrench from the first game, by the way. I noticed that they are making these robots look like Jewish people, so they're being racist about that too. Burning Halo. 70% chance that melee target will set ablaze. Victims have a 300% damage over that. I will equip that instead of what I had before, which was Electric Punch. But none of it really matters. Did we ever find a place that needed a key, though?
No more than 4 foot and 9 inches.
Bet I can get to Monument Island from that station.
They just gave a description of me that is probably completely inaccurate, saying I was missing my left eye and no more than 4 feet 9 inches. We could jump up there, or we could jump over here and see what we can do. There's a lot of fighting going on that takes place with the idea of this. So we're supposed to go this direction towards the monument there. And do we see anybody anywhere? Nope. At least not as well as much as I can tell. So you just jump to this, then dismount is the right move. I assume these doors are always going to be inaccessible. Search for what we need. Now in BioShock you had the ability to rephrase things so that, or not rephrase things, but search again a area. That was one of the abilities you could have that could be very helpful when you're picking up things. I imagine we might find a piece of gear that gives us the same ability, but also maybe not. So do I want to go to Monument Island or check this place out? And I think I want to check this place out. Health. Search the trash cans for salt. Search. The only thing I'm really looking for is money. And things. And ability and gear and all of that. So this is a decent place to investigate as a side.
What color were his eyes?
Blue. No, green. I can't remember. His eyes were bigger than that. Squinty.
So you see.
Call his hair color.
It was red and curly. He looked Irish to me. Yes, like that.
So they're describing me
He was
as
certainly an anarchist.
as an Irish person. Every single busybody on this in Colombia is making me out to be everything they don't like in their racist tendency. So what happens if I do this? Possess that one policeman, and he's just gonna fight for me until it wears off, and then he shoots himself. Interesting. Interesting. So I kind of know how that works. And he was just drawing pictures of, I assume she was describing me, but she'd never even seen me. And he did some work for me by killing a couple of other police. And here we have a doll. You could almost have the little sisters again in this game, just by the kids wandering around. It just wouldn't really work. See, she's just scared, and so I don't really see a reason to kill her. But there's also not really a reason to have come down this way, other than to see this picture. There's a little bit of gold, a little bit of money we got. That was it. It's just a little side quest area. Side quest area to have a little bit of dialogue. I can always pick up more food. But no locked door or anything like that. I'm pretty sure the locks that use the key have like giant, very recognizable locks on them. So this optional one, you found an intriguing key. Search for nearby houses for what it unlocks. Nope. The game doesn't want me to do that. And honestly, I think the key you found might actually just play a part in the story. Because you do find this key and use it later on in the story. And that may very well just be the one I found. Maybe there are no points in the game where you use a key. And the game is just being completely inaccurate when it says I should look. And that would be really crazy if the key that we found is part of the story and it's telling me to look around for a lock that doesn't exist. Because it would be better if they had just said something along the lines of, you found the key, this will come in handy later. Or I'm sure this will come in handy later. Just to imply, don't bother. Do that. But the better thing would have been for it to have been labeled a Monument Island key. I suppose if you hadn't picked it up though, and it's needed to like open these doors, then you would have to run all the way back. And we leave the area again, and I assume this is where you save. Because we're not seeing any save stations. We're not seeing anything like that. Alright. This one, to start off with, gets 600. And I need 1,241 for the Devil's Kiss aid, and I need 1,485, I believe, for that. And I'm slightly short. So I'll buy a little salt. Didn't do this. And didn't do that. There's a bunch of people over there. I think I've got everybody else. Just a lot of stuff, but will be enough to get some salt back. Just a whole area there where we were supposed to have fought everybody. Let's just do this while we're looking. You don't run into these very much. Columbia marvels and fears at unfamiliar sights. This is the big twist of the game that gets revealed just out of the blue here. What are these astonishments which appear and disappear? Columbia's greatest mind is insane. So, rips in space, basically, without getting too spoilish, start appearing and playing a part in this world, which doesn't make the most amount of sense. Again, there's just random elements all patchworked into this game, and if the argument is that the story, without spoiling the story, is actually supposed to be that way, it's kind of a catch-22 answer that I'm not very satisfied with. We got flies flying everywhere. The world is getting dingier and less hospitable as we go forward. Now remember, I have a lot of people I killed, and they've despawned if I've collected everything from them. And if I haven't collected everything from them, I will pretty soon here. And all of this is just a police barricaded area. So they've had time to set up places to try and take me down. Either that, or the idea is that they've been fighting somebody else and they're trying to take me down and the other people down. $619 is not enough, we found. Is there anything up here? Remember, you can pick up things out of water and it will actually lower the amount of salt and health you have. The tower protects the land from the false shepherd. I half expect to find something locked behind this. You can see some bullets over there. The safe is open. That seems strange too. Like, remember in BioShock 2 we were hacking safes open, there was sentry guards, there was all kinds of robotics that made sense. And here there's a considerable smaller amount of things. By the way, the voice we're hearing for this stuff is probably Ken Levine. He was the voice for these machines in the first game. Let's see. Take that salt back. Take as much salt as possible. There's probably more salt sitting around somewhere. And again, I could spend 18 to get some more salt. But I can't afford any of this. In fact, I've not really moved up very much as far as actual money at all. And so, to get to Monument Island...
I'm sorry to say that Monument Island is off limits. You've got to go. Workmen should proceed to the island by means of the skyline.
Skylines, huh? Those things them coppers came riding in on back by the lottery.
So they're being very specific to say use the skyline. So I can't, for instance...
heads to Monument Island. Shot.
I don't have enough salts to possess this guy anyways. I can't get over there. We found a couple of collectibles.
It looks like I can hop the skyline from here.
The floor is a little awkward, but sometimes you can walk on it and get over, and sometimes you can't.
Saw them coppers riding the skylines with their hooks.
And see, they've got it specifically mentioning this. They wanted you to experience this. So I could continue down that way.
And hastens to her tower even now. His intent is ruin.
Let's see, this is a maintenance area that I don't know what it does. Seems like they're level 7 of this.
Feel better already.
We're barely at 3 hours in the game and I've already got my shield up to level 7, and at this rate, if I just play pretty methodically, I'll probably have everything up to the maximum, which you couldn't do, I'm pretty sure, without the DLC help of 5 extra improvements. I think I got set on fire there.
And the Lord saw the wickedness of man was great, and he repented he had made man on the earth. Rain. 40 days and 40 nights of the stuff, and he left not a thing that walked alive. You see, my friends, even God is entitled to a do-over. And what is Columbia if not another ark? For another time.
So, this seems like they bring up supplies from the surface. 15,000 feet down. Looking all around here, trying to do it. I had to pull that to make the path clear. doesn't really matter if I was in one or the other, and there is at a certain point you can switch it and jump from one section to the other. If I'd messed up any of those attacks, I could have just jumped down to the ground. And see, we're getting into the bad section. Interesting, that fall.
But if I get some elevation, I could probably reach it.
So that fall was more than I could handle. We'll switch between the different guns. There might be some small achievement for doing this, but if there is any achievements in this game, there's also a decent chance. Well, I know there are achievements for the Steam version of this game, and there were for the Xbox version of this game too, the Xbox 360 version. But I suspect heavily one of those achievements is going to be revolving around beating the game on the most difficult setting, and that's more struggle than I think it's probably worth to do on almost every game. Trying to get that money up, but I think this game has a system that keeps it very balanced more than it should be, so you can never really get ahead of the curve. And see, that's where I'm supposed to go, I suspect, because we started over here and there's nothing over there. And see, you have people's houses that have been ransacked. And clearly this isn't just about me. Fit as a fiddle. When revived, recover full health. Increase weapon damage by 50% on skylines. I will go ahead and equip Fit as a fiddle, but I don't know what revived means. Because I just don't have a clue what that means.
Prepare!
And I think we may very well have just walked our way around an area that we could have skyhooked. But see, if you're going the wrong direction, you can just hit B and turn around, and you don't fall or crash, which is good to know. And here we are about to make it to Monument Island. We can see people are shooting at me.
Stand down! Stand down!
He who crossed the Delaware with flaming sword and the wings of angels, watch over me and lend me strength.
Father Washington, hear my prayer.
And it just was told, they were just told to stand down, and they standed down. Amazing. So you started here, and you could go in circles again if you wanted to. It's a kind of a lazy trick that they have here, where they've got vast portions of the game have just been cut out, and you don't have to develop any area for it. So these guys are just here. They're not going to attack you. Yeah, maybe if I shot them, they would attack me. But otherwise, they literally follow orders to a T. That is very strange. Hey, and we lost our key. Or something else. Because you can see in the lower right-hand corner, it says I have 0 locks. And I would assume that means I have 0 keys unlocked. Which probably means the key I did find is story-related. I bet it is. Anyways, that's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.